Hey guys, how's it going? It's Philip, a Trade Genius. Okay, so wanted to basically kind of just cover the charts. It's been a pretty bloody month already, month of February, and to follow up on January, which we were kind of waiting to get out of. But it's everything in the crypto space has been taking a hit, and it's not just not just Bitcoin, it's everything. As you can see, the whole market cap has sold off. And one thing I noticed was you had even a technical formation that was setting up on the market cap as a whole. You had a head and shoulders that formed here. And then we broke the neckline. And down we go. General rule of thumb is this head to neck is generally the measured move down. Not always, but that's technically the rule book on that. That would take us down to 200 billion cap roughly. So not sure if we'll get down there, but what I wanted to show you guys was the fact that I think what's going to happen here is we're having a decent move up. It's 4:30 roughly, a little past 4:30 Eastern AM. And we are getting a little bit of a push here. I don't see anything. This is a 1 hour chart. I don't see anything too dramatic. About 17 minutes left in this hourly bar, but nothing super outrageous on the volume side like we had over here on this bar here, which probably buoyed this support level for a bit, and then we fell over. What is good is that we're finally breaking above this moving average, the quick moving average, and chances are we'll probably come up, tag this one, and probably see a bit of a pullback when we get up there. So you'll come up like that and try to go higher. So the 7960 area would be technical resistance at this point. Now what I wanted to show you guys was, let's get out of this chart. So here's the daily, okay? And now we've seen some decent volume come in here. Where we had similar bottoms, we started getting this type of volume bars up in this area here, right? So we had a bottom here. This was an interesting one where it was looked like it wanted to sell off, and then buyers just fought it hard, and we dojied out there for a day or so, and then boom, we broke higher, so that follows through. And then we had dip buyers step in here. We consolidated, rolled over, more dip buyers here. And we're seeing more dip buying here. If we get into the technical aspect of this move now, we do have a long-term trend line. This is Bitfinex data feed on Coinbase. It's got more volume. The volume on the Coinbase charts got screwed up on this last update on TradingView. I'm not sure why. So better accurate read on the volume using Bitfinex. Okay, so that means said, we're bouncing off the 6,000 support area. Okay, so that's pretty clear support here. Now, what we have here, and I was talking about this the other video, we got this support. This is a logarithmic chart, so things look fatter down here, and it gets smaller up top because it's trying to scale and fit the scale of the move consistently. But we got a lot of volume support in this area, so this wouldn't give up quite that easily. We had volume support here. Okay, so that takes care of this zone. You see it consolidates there. We had volume support here, consolidate in that zone. So as these zones consolidate, then it consolidates, breaks down, consolidates, breaks down. So you would expect to see at least some consolidation in here, and then see if we test another low, which would take us down to this area of next support of about 5,000 or so. And it may penetrate a little bit below that. It could even go, although I don't think it's likely, to 3,000. But it's all about the equilibrium of the buyers and sellers. So what's going to happen here is a very technical move is setting up, and typically what happens is the 200-day moving average is what this line is. So you see we came down, bounced off it. This ended up being a dead cat, what we call a dead cat bounce, where you come down real hard, and then you boink, you bounce, and then you roll over. Now, sometimes what happens is you roll over and you'll do a double bottom, or what happens is you'll roll over and you'll stop halfway and move higher. or sometimes make a V bottom, what they call a V bottom, and that'll take off like we have here. Okay, so but usually these large moves like this coming down, usually you get a dead cat bounce, and that's what we got here. So now what ends up happening, typically the technical pattern is that we move up, and maybe not in today's bar, though that would be pretty bullish, but the next 24 to 48 hours we see a move that comes up to this moving average, and it's going to get rejected. And that's where I'm going to be really interested to see if this moves lower or if it double bottoms. You know, do we double bottom here, move higher, or do we make new lows? In that case, then we're hunting down the next volume profile zones, which again, if we zoom out, would be this area here. So basically, once we break this, it would be this next area in here. Actually, we can click off the log chart here, make this a little bit easier to look at. So this is going back 2016. So you can see this bump in volume. So basically, if we break through here, this is going to be this next ledge of support. So like I said, it's going to be around 5,000 down to 3,000. Okay, that's your next area where you'd be looking for support. But again, these zones aren't going to give up that easy. They're going to consolidate. So, but I think that's the immediate price action. Very high probability that that will run up there to that level. So currently that level is going to be 78. Call it 7,900 roughly, 78.80 to 7,900. So yeah, moving average is right now 7,900. So that's the move we'd be looking for, bounce up to that. Everyone might get jolly, but I think that's going to be a little bit of a bull trap, and then we probably in all likelihood roll over. If we broke, if the only thing I would say is if that thing just blew past that and broke above this area, and we got back above, this is going to be, this 95 or this 10,000 area is going to be resistance here. So if we ran back up to that, we might have a fighting chance. We'd bounce off of that. We might have a fighting chance of going higher. All right, but we're looking for a bottom here. We're looking for telltale signs of a bottom. Just haven't seen it yet. So if we zoom way out, let's go back to a logarithmic chart here. Reset the scale. All right, so we have this log trend line that we're basically, we breached, kind of clinging to, but whether or not that lets go, I think it'll be interesting to see how this behaves in here. That's going to be real under the magnifying glass for me. So that's what I'm looking at right now, guys. I don't, you got to look at the big picture here, right? And I know some of you have bought up in here when we were way up high, and have bought down. But you got to keep in mind that the funds are doing this too. They're not stupid. They dollar cost average, and funds were probably getting in fourth quarter of last year, but when you see these volume areas like this, that's people, funds, large buyers, they're waiting to accumulate a position, and they're getting into these spots, right? So they're dollar cost averaging, so they might be somewhere in here, which is not a bad spot, because you guys have to understand this space is so new. If you're tapping out now, you're tapping out at like the very beginning of a whole new space. So this run to 20,000 was just a preview, and that's what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin, it just runs up like that, and you just have to understand when you're in an overbought condition, it can feel like it's never going down up here, right? It's not going to happen. This pullback's going to bounce, and we're going to move higher like the rest of this move. But when you start getting away from some of these like this moving average, this 200-day, or the 20 moving average on the weekly, which has basically caught every single bounce until this recent one here, that's going to be that's going to be an indicator of how overbought we are. So just to keep that in mind, but keep it in perspective, guys. I mean, if you really are, believing in the whole cryptocurrency movement, and you understand Bitcoin, you understand the development behind Bitcoin, you understand the technological advances they're making with layer 2 tech, then you'll understand this isn't going anywhere. And these are just going to be buying opportunities. How many people I heard that wish they could buy back at these lower levels, and now it's here? And are you hesitating, or are you getting in? Again, when you buy the fear in the markets, okay, and the fear is pretty high right here. This may not be the bottom. We may get like a blowout move that bounces us under 5,000, but typically those don't last very long and they bounce pretty hard. So you just have to have a bigger picture. If you're long term, want to accumulate Bitcoin, these are great places to get it. The alt market, that's going to follow suit. You're hard pressed to find an alt that's going to hold up very well when things are like this. Now, what's exasperating the situation too, guys, is check this out. This is the ES futures, right? So this is the futures on the S&P 500. Look at that move. Crazy, right? So that's not Bitcoin, that's the S&P futures. So we've had an event, and that's not been helping the cryptocurrency space either, which you don't know until it happens. We'd seen signs of where crypto space was sort of immune to what's going on in in the equities, but this is spilt over, obviously, to the cryptocurrency space, because we saw today's action definitely was on par with what we're seeing in equities with the sell-off. There was the Fun XIV, which is an ETF, and I know we don't typically cover these, but this thing just got destroyed today. And this is actually part of the story. What ended up happening was, I don't have the actually, you know what, I can't show you guys. Not on TradingView, that's the cryptos. But if you look, I'm just trying to explain to you guys, there's a lot going on with the markets as far as let's go down to like a 15-minute, bear with me here. Okay, so here's an intraday chart. This is a XIV, so it's the inverse of the VIX volatility index. Okay, so the VIX is a measure of the volatility in the market. So if the markets are tanking, the VIX rises. This is an ETF that goes up inversely. So if the markets are going up, it's going to go up because the volatility is down. So today, after hours, after the market closed, it just got utterly destroyed. It went from around 94, just cascaded down to and bottomed out at $10. I mean, just wiped out. And so when you have something like that, and there was a lot of money tied up in this, and it gets wiped out in 2 hours, wipes out 5 years of gains, we got issues. So there's probably going to be some fallout from this, and we just don't know what it is yet. But so I don't think we're out of the woods by any means. I think this stuff is somewhat affecting the cryptocurrency space. Whether that decouples remains to be seen. I have no idea. But again, I don't think, I haven't seen a bottom, at least not in my view book as far as, or outlook as far as what would constitute a bottom yet in Bitcoin. I don't see it. But if we do get a huge daily volume up here and a big green bar, there might be some talk of possibly a bottom going in, but nobody's going to be able to tell you for sure. We just have technical levels, and then price action and volume is really going to be the indicator there. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you kind of the outlook here. I think we bounced back up to this 200 EM daily simple moving average, and then I believe that will roll over, and that move there will be really important for a Bitcoin bottom. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.